Hello, Imran. Tests. Yes, everyone is having those. They are traveling a lot these days. 10 cards, races. I won 5 of them. Congratulations, Gaurang. Traveled a lot. I must say that you have a better journey and enjoying your life, Pratik. Movies and lots of them. Garvit bhai, great projects. Rajit bhai, you are as usual a studious person, I must say. So let's move towards the session. Before I begin the session, I would like to put forward a few points for all the members. Kindly do not switch on your camera or mic during the session as it may create disturbances for all the existing members. If you have any questions or doubt, you can drop it down in the chat box. I will be assuring that all your doubts get addressed by the speaker soon. So, today we have divided the whole session into 4 segments. In the first segment, we will be discussing about the AWS. In the second segment, we will be having a roadmap to RHCSA. And up next, we will be having our doubt clearing session, where our speaker will be addressing to all your questions. And finally, towards the end of the session, our speaker will be giving the answer to the previous project that was given to you. So I hope you all got the segments clearly, and let's move towards the session. Today we have our amazing speaker and monitor for the session, Mr. Rajit Paul. He is the core community lead at AWS Cloud Community LPU. He himself considers as an amazing learner, and he is filled with lots of achievements and knowledge that one can write down several novels with it. Every time you find him, he will be speaking about some of the other projects. So, I would like to request Rajit Bhaiya to please take over the stage and begin the session. Rajit Bhaiya, please.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh. That was a lovely compliment on your side of writing novels, but
Welcome,
really
Bhaiya.
not, yeah, really not sure about that. But I try to share whatever with you all because I love sharing, and this is why I'm here today as well. So let us get started without further ado.
Sure, Bhaiya.
So good afternoon, all. Welcome to the AWS Cloud Community LPU community learning sessions. Uh, as you all know, we have been doing this for a while, and we will continue to do this because of our love for the community and because of sharing what we know with others so that all can benefit and enjoy from it. So, can somebody confirm if my screen is visible, please?
Uh, yeah,
Yes,
Rajat bhai,
Bhaiya, it's visible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, yeah, so let us proceed. The first thing we would like to do today is lay down our agenda for this session or for this learning session. So today on the platform, AWS platform, we are going to create an IAM user. And what we're going to do with that IAM user is basically we are going to get started with AWS CLI. So if you have been following us for the previous learning sessions, you might have seen all the other demos that we presented. And everything that we did was all from the GUI, the graphical user interface, where I manually came and I logged into the console and I did whatever I had to do, or build infrastructures on top of it, or share data, submit images, photos, and whatever I had to do. I did it from here, the console. So as of now, we are going to start with the CLI part of AWS, the AWS CLI command line interface. So just the installation part, we would just go to the installation part. And so AWS can be accessed via 3 ways. One of the ways is, as you can see, the GUI part, where you can come down and log into the console and perform whatever you want to do. And the next part would be the command line interface. So now, what is a command line interface? The command line interface, for example, in Linux, or example in Windows, whichever way OS you are using, there should be a terminal or command line or command prompt or whatever it is, right? So in here you can type in the command. So it is known as the command line interface. So for example, some simple Linux commands such as date or cal. So these are the simple Linux commands. So basically, you can run commands directly by typing it on it, right? There is no GUI. You need to type in the commands. So the command line interface is also supported with AWS, where you can write your AWS commands and you can run them. So you don't need to come to the console and upload or create your infrastructure. You can do it from the command line. So now let us first go ahead and install it. So first of all, we got to see the for Windows. I'm showing you for the Windows because most people use Windows, and also many use Linux. So you can just go ahead and go to the AWS Amazon CLI page. I will ask Garvit please to provide the link. So you can go ahead to the AWS CLI, and you can download it. The options are presented here for Windows, for Mac, for Linux, and you just need to download it, and you just need to double click next, next, next. That's it, right? For the Linux, you need to just download, unzip, and that's it. So, and also for Windows, excuse me, also for Windows, you need to set the path. So don't forget to set the path so that you can use or run the command from anywhere. So yeah, now once you have installed, you will have something of say AWS. When you type in AWS, they will show you this message or prompt saying that you need to type in some commands. So we'll look into what the commands are, but what you got to do is you just got to install it, and then you will see something like this, the prompt, right? So once the setup is done, I'm not going for the installation part because it is very simple, and you'll get a lot of documentation, AWS documentation. So I'll ask Garvit to please provide the documentation on the same. So you just can go ahead and install the CLI. Once that is done, we'll move forward with the further infrastructure build, right? So first of all, what I need to do is I need to create an IAM user. So what is an IAM user? An IAM user is a user with restricted permissions or policies, or like a permitted user. For example, this is the root user that I'm accessing. Now I can create an IAM user, and I can access or provide allocate some permissions to the user, so that whenever that user, that IAM user, logs into the console, he'll have a certain tasks allocated to them that only they can perform. They can't go beyond that, right? So I can do that on my part. I can provide them permissions which will restrict them to a certain genre. So for example, we have the production team, we have the development team, we have the testing team. So all of them don't require to use all the services, right? So for example, this is my community, or sorry, or you can say my company account, right? So all of the people, they don't need to use all of the services. So what I can do is I can go ahead and I can create a user like this. So say for example, this is a community user, right? AWSCCLPU user. And then they will ask me if I want to provide them programmatic access, in the sense that do I want to access it from the CLI, or do I want to access it from the console? So I need to check it, right? So as of now, I'm going to go with the CLI because we are going to access it via AWS CLI. So next we'll go forward to permissions. And in here, I already have a group. So if you want to attach it to a group, what is a group? In group, you can have multiple policies. Attached policies are like permissions. So you can go ahead and attach policies, right? For example, I just want my user will have full access to EC2. So I'll do the same, and I'll provide an Amazon EC2 full access, this permission policy, right? So then I can go ahead and create this. So my user won't be able to use any other service. Just this, this will be accessed. The EC2 will only be accessed by the IAM user. And then you can go ahead and also copy from existing user. For example, you already created an IAM user and you have attached certain policies to that user. So you can go ahead and copy that permission, so you don't have to attach the permission once again. So this is a simple fact about IAM. We already created a video with detailed description on it. Also wrote a blog on the same. So please, someone float the links. Garvit, please float the links so that you all can go through, right? So moving forward, we'll attach a tag. A tag is more like a metadata. It is data about a data. So for example, the IAM user that we created, we are going to denote that this IAM user is used for this purpose. So for example, I'm attaching the purpose, or I can call it, test demo, or I can say like session demo today. And then I can go ahead and provide a name. So for example, this is for the Cloud Community, AWS Cloud Community LPU. So we'll go ahead and now review whatever we have done. So this is the user with this access, and the permission boundary is not yet set. And the permission summary is that Amazon EC2 full access is being allocated to this user. So now we'll go ahead and create the user. So once the user is created, you'll get something which is the access key ID and the secret access key. Now, please note down that this is a very highly secure access key and secret access key. So please don't share it with anyone. And because your account might be accessed and you might incur a lot of bills, or someone might break into your account using this, and you cannot do nothing about it. So don't share this with anyone. So what I'll do is I'll download the CSV, and you can download the CSV and later review the CSV. Also, this CSV is very secure, so don't share this with anyone, right? So as of now, before I proceed further, I need to go ahead and configure my AWS CLI. What does AWS configure mean? AWS configure means that the AWS CLI will run on my local host, but the infrastructure will launch on AWS. So the connection between AWS and my system would be my account, and the account will be authenticated by this access key ID and secret access key, right? So when I go ahead and configure this, they'll ask me for the access key ID and the secret access key. So as of now, I'll just copy this. I'll copy this one. Sorry, yeah, I'll just copy this one and the secret access key as well. So I'll be stopping the screen share just to copy my secret access key, and I'll just copy the secret access key. And once it's copied, I'll go ahead and resume the screen share. So 1 second, please. Yeah, it's done. So what I did basically, I'll show it to you once again, but without the secret key and the secret access key. Is 1 moment, let me check. Yeah. So yeah. Please someone confirm on the chat that is the screen visible, right?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. So yeah, so what I did is I just ran AWS configured, provided my access key ID, provided my secret access key, and then they asked me for the region name. So for example, I'm running this on Mumbai region. So as of now, IAM is a global service, but as you switch the portal to EC2, you will see that it's region based. Like this service is region based. So I need to also provide the region on where the user is located, or where I'll be launching my infrastructure. So I have provided AP South 1 is the code for Mumbai, right? You can see here AP South 1 is the code for Mumbai. So I have provided in the AWS CLI, right? And next they would ask me what is the output format that you would like us to present the output. For example, I'm running some command like show me the number of instances that are present in my account right now. So they'll go ahead and they'll show me the output, but the way that output will be shown is JSON. So by default, it will be JSON. If you don't see any default here, just write in JSON. And same as for the default region. If you don't see anything there, just write AP South 1. So I've already configured it. So now it's done. So how would you know now it's done? So for example, let's take this scenario that I am completely new to AWS and I have no knowledge that how to use AWS. And previous video, I just have watched that how to launch an EC2 instance, and I want to do the same with AWS CLI. So what was the first step that we did? The first step we did was we went in and we installed it onto our localhost system. And once it is installed, what we did, we came and created an IAM user. So you can ask me how do I know to how do I create an IAM user? So for that, what you can do is you can go ahead, watch any videos. We also have a video of AWS Cloud Community LP channel. You can go ahead and watch that. You can watch any read any blog, and you'll know how to create an IAM user. Once that is done, I showed you how to configure it, and also this is a very secret credential that you should never share with anyone. So this is, you should also keep this in mind. So once everything is done, now you're here in front of your terminal and you don't know how to approach it, right? So the first thing that we would do is we would ask AWS, if you don't know anything, please tell us what to do. So we will run AWS help. So what does AWS give us? AWS give us that the name is this, you're running it on AWS CLI, and with the description, the synopsis. What does synopsis mean? The synopsis means the syntax format, AWS, and then the options, and then the command, the subcommand, and the parameters, right? Inside the option sections, we have a lot of options that we can put here. We can put debug, and all descriptions are present here, right? Debug logging, override commands, default URL, and everything. Okay, and you can also see the formatting style output like JSON, text table, YML, and everything, right? There are some other options, so right. So once you read this, now you have a requirement that you want to go ahead and launch an EC2 instance. So what would you search for? You search for services, because EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud, is a service, right? So you'd go ahead and search for this service. So let us see. This is A. This is C. We are down to C. We are down to D, and we are down to E. Now in E, the first service that we see is EC2, right? We just now got a input from AWS that if you want to launch an EC2 instance, the keyword that you're looking for is EC2. Let me copy this, and then I'll go ahead and I would type in EC2. Okay, then I'd run it, and I would see that it shows me a prompt that this is not the correct format. Please go ahead and correct your own format. So I don't know beyond this. I just found that this keyword for launching an EC2 is this, but how can I launch an EC2 instance? I don't know. So again, I'll go ahead and ask AWS for this. I'll ask AWS, like, I don't know, please tell me what to do. Now what they do, they show me that you are trying to launch EC2 instance, or you're trying to use the EC2 service. So this is the description for the same. uh, these are the resources that you can go ahead and you can refer this for your own knowledge, and these are the available commands. They provide us the entire list of commands. Now what do you want to do? We want to launch an instance. So launching an instance is also known as run instance, because launch is equal to run, right? In computer terminology, we use run, like run this software, or run this OS on your system. So what does that mean? Launch this software, launch this OS. So it is the same or the synonym of launch. So we need to find something with run. Let us see if we find something with run. So let me yeah, let us try. Yeah, we came down to R, and inside R, let us see, is there anything for about run instances? Yeah, there is something called run instances, right? Great, we found this keyword. Let me copy it, and let me go down. So let me just paste, right? So let me paste it, and now let me paste enter. Wow, I got an error. I thought that this would run, but this did not run. But what is great about AWS, they provided me an error. An error with what? They said that there is a missing parameter error for this command that you are trying to run, and this must contain the image ID. Now let us go back to the web UI. Let us discuss here. What is the image ID? So for example, I'm running Ubuntu on my system. You might be running Windows, someone might be running Red Hat, someone might be running Mac OS or something else, right? Now to launch or to provision an OS, we always need an image. Like we say, to format, we need to format our system, and for that we need to create a live USB or live hard disk or live whatever, right? So for that, what you do is we load that image on that particular device, and then we install the OS. So always for installing the OS, we need the image. So what is an AMI? An AMI is an Amazon machine image. So in Amazon Web Services, whichever instance you want to launch, you have to provide the image ID, right? So for that, this is just now showing owned by me. If I take this to public images, there are a lot of images present, right? So if I just go ahead and search for, for example, Ubuntu, let's see. So there are so many images provided for Ubuntu, right? So I can just go ahead and take one of these images and launch. But how would I do that? By copying this image ID. So that image is recognized, or the image is linked with the image ID. So I would go ahead and copy the image ID. Before I do that, I want to share with you something, is that not all the services in AWS are free. So there are only limited services and limited images, limited things that you can use, which will not charge you, and also that with a certain quota. So I would ask Garvit to please provide the AWS free trial link. So you can just go ahead and type in AWS free tier. That will show you the complete list of the services that are free, and also the quota that up till which it will be free. Like Amazon EC2 is free till 750 hours. Beyond this monthly, if I use it, they will start charging me. So this should be clear, right? Now, once we are clear with this, we can now go ahead and use the AMI. So the AMI that is free is the Amazon. You can call it the AMI Linux 2. There are some other images that are also free, but as of now we are just going to go with Linux 2. So now in here you can see like all these services, but all these images, and there is no like mention of free tag. So what you can do is you can quickly go to the dashboard, and you can quickly trigger here to launch instance, or you can find it from here that it's mentioned free tag eligible. So let us go back there and let us see that is some free tag mentioned there. Let us see that here. Can I use some filter, free tire? Let me check. Image type. I don't see any mention of free tire. Might be there, but as of now I cannot see it. So we will use the AMI name would be Linux 2. Let us see if we get something. So this is the same thing that they provided us. So you can go ahead and choose, but as of now I don't see any free tag here. So to be on the safe side, I'll update if somebody sees the free tag filter here, please update on the meet chat. The simplest and the safest way would be you just go to the launch instance, and in here you can definitely see the free tag eligible, right? So what we need the image AMI ID. So what we'll do, we just go ahead and copy this AMI ID, because I want to launch this the instance with this OS, and for that OS to be launched we need this image, right? We have all other also like Red Hat is free, SUSE, Ubuntu, Windows, and rest. There are many free tier and many are not free. So just watch out for this tag, and you can also select this, so it will provide you a complete list of free tag, right? So yeah, we need to move in fast. So yeah, so now what we got to do is, so we need to provide the image ID. So I'll quickly provide the image ID, and there should be some parameter as well as for that. So let me see. If I provide the image ID, what does it give me? It says that I need to provide some sub command for this, right? So there is some option for this. So quickly let me check that. For example, I don't know what to launch, and I take the help. So in here, when I take the help, it will provide me the complete list of parameters, right? So in here, you can see everything, like whatever options you require, whatever parameters you require. You can also say there is something known as image ID. So it is already mentioned. AWS has provided us the entire list that we can do with this AWS EC2 run instances command. What all we can add into it, right? So as of now, I'm just going to go with this image ID, and I'm going to then paste it down, and then I'm going to also paste this image ID as well, right? So yeah, so now let us see, will they launch the instance? No, they say that when we are using the run instances operation, it is currently not supported. An error occurred, and they said that when calling the run instance operation, the request configuration is currently not supported. Please check the documentation for supported configuration. So why it is not supported? Let us see. Let us try with some other AMI ID. Is it for only for this AMI ID, or is it for all the AMI IDs? So this is how we need to troubleshoot. Like, we don't know anything, right? So we don't have any pre-written script. So we just need to troubleshoot. So it is saying that the it is not supported. So let us try it in a different way. So what all do we need along with it? Let's just think about it for a minute. That to launch an EC2 instance, we require the image. We are providing the image, right? What all do we need? We need to mention few other things, right? We need to mention. Let us see what are required. So in here there are some, you can see some examples provided. So let us go through that example. So image ID is there. We require the instance type as well, because there are so many instance type in AWS. So how would they know that which instance type should be used? So they have used the default mi small. So if we require something else, we can go with some other. Okay, so okay, this is by default, they will use this. Let us go ahead for something else as well. Let's see. So do we require IPv6 address count? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, so we can omit this as of now. Placement, you can provide, you cannot provide, right? So this can be done as well. So there are various other options like security groups, and there are user data, and so there are so many options provided along with, excuse me, so there are so many options provided along with it. So like you can go ahead and do that, or what we can do is, we are facing some problem, facing some issue, let us go ahead and google it and ask AWS that I want to launch an EC2 instance. Can you help me out with it? Let us see what does AWS provide. So AWS provided me with the complete documentation of AWS CLI, right? So now I am stuck here. I don't know what to do, right? So what I do, I go to AWS CLI. I just ask AWS that I want to launch this. Can you provide me, or can you help me out with it? So AWS, they provide me the entire list of what can I do, right? So out of this, we know that we want to go for run instances. So let us go for run instances. Let us try to find run instances here. So there is some option for run instances. Let us go ahead and select that. Yeah. Once we are into run instances, we can see that all of the options that were provided here are also listed here, right? And along with it, we would also, get some examples. So these are the examples. So you don't know what to do, you just go ahead and ask AWS that please help me with this, because I'm new to the platform and I don't know what to do. So they provided us the entire command to use this, right? So what, let us see what we have provided. We have provided AWS EC2 run instances. We have provided the image ID. Okay, so also we needed to provide the instance type, right? So let us see. Let us provide the instance type. All right, and it should be T2 micro. Okay, so now once it's done, let us run this. Let us see. Now our instance is successfully launched, right? Our instance got successfully launched. So this is how we need to proceed forward. See, I started fresh, completely fresh. I faced some error. What I do, I go ahead and ask AWS. I asked the AWS CLI. I couldn't understand the AWS CLI options, so I use the official documentation provided online, and I can see an example. I just went there and accessed that example. Now let us see, is it launched? Now let us go ahead and check the running instances, and you can see that this is launched. How would I know this is launched? Let us check again from the AWS CLI, right? So we'll go to CLI now. We want to check the running instances. So for that, let us go ahead again to the EC2, and I ran this. They are not showing me anything. I ran the help again. So now what option we want to go ahead with? We want to list. So I would go for some option known as list. So because I want to list the instances that are launched, so I would go ahead and try to find something which is by the name of list. So I'm not able to find something as of now with list. So let me find something with instances, because our instance, EC2 instance, was launched. Okay, so let me see, describe instances. So this will help us to see that which instances are already running, and that will also help us to describe them, and then we can figure out that was this the instance that was launched by us. So let us see. The date provided is 21/3/2021, and the time provided is uh, 13 around. I think this is some other server or NTP they're using, or other protocol they're using for the time. But with the date we can figure it out, right? That this was the date it was launched on, and also with the instance type it was launched, and also with the AMI that it was launched. So we can figure this out completely from the CLI. We are just using the browser for our understanding, but if we didn't know about the AWS management console, so we can directly do it from the CLI, right? So once this is done, now let us see what else we can do. So let us look into the use case of AWS CLI. So AWS CLI is mostly used for companies, or for people who are trying to deploy some infrastructure, working in a team. So what benefit it has over using the browser, sorry, the management console, is that there are various things that you cannot do from the management console, but you can do from the AWS CLI. So this is the first point. The second point would be that, for example, I have launched an instance from the management console, and I want my friend also to do the same. So for that, what I'll do is I can create a video for this, send him. I can tell him how to do it, that go to the console, do this, do that. So I need to direct him, and he need to do it manually. But what if I provided him or her the code directly? I provide the code, and they'll just run the code, and that will create the infrastructure, right? So we don't need to go ahead manually and use the console to launch the instances, or to launch whatever infrastructure we have. We can just do it from the CLI, right? We can provide the code to our friends, they can do it. So another let us look at another way. So now let us integrate something. All of you have heard about the language Python, so we can use Python here, right? For example, let us see. Let me create a Python PyScript dot py, right? So in here, let me import a library which is known as OS library. So what this library will do, this library will help me run command on the terminal, right? So let me go ahead and use this, and in here, whatever command we have run, we just need to provide that. So for example, we need to run this command, right? AWS to run instances, and I need to provide the image ID. So I will use this command. So in here, let us do a little tweak. Let us first take the input from the user. So let us ask the user that, oh, what is your AMI ID? So let me take the input from the user. What is your AMI ID? Please tell me. So the user will provide me the AMI ID, which I can store here. The same I'm going to do for the instance type. So let me ask the user, what is your instance type, right? So now what we'll do is we will replace this AMI ID with the image ID. So the same with this, we'll provide the AMI ID here, and then we will provide the instance type here. So once it is done, we'll go ahead and we would run this. So let us see what happens. Okay, let us see if this code is right or not. So now we run this. We run the script that we have created. Then the user asks me, sorry, the program asks me what is my AMI ID. So let me go to the console, or I can have it somewhere written. So for example, my company has a compliance, or my use case, my requirement is such that I need to use AMI ID only of Red Hat. So I'll just go ahead, copy this. After copying, I'll provide it to the program, right? I'll just provide to the program. And then what is the instance set? Just the same for the instance set. I have a compliance of using T2 micro. So I'll just provide it to my program. And once I've provided this, you can see the complete infrastructure is launched. I did not have to do anything. I just provided my instance type, I just provided my AMI ID, and the complete infrastructure is launched. So I just can provide my friends this script. I'll just provide this script to my friends and ask them that, hey, you want to launch an EC2 instance and you don't have any knowledge about AWS, and while you are on the learning phase, what you can do is you just go ahead and you just run this command. You just install Python 3. I've created a Py script for you. You just run this command, provide the AMI ID, and you provide this AMI ID here, and then it'll ask you for the instance type. You provide the instance type, and your instance would be launched. You don't have to do anything. So the complete infrastructure is launched without us knowing much and without us going to the console. So one prerequisite for this is that they need to log in to the console, create an IAM user, and then they need to provide that credentials and run AWS configure. But once that is done, whatever infrastructure, this is a small infrastructure, as we have some time constraint, we cannot go for some complex infrastructure. But whatever infrastructure we have, we just can provide it in script like this, right? AWS CLI commands, and then they can run the script, and they can, launch the infrastructure. So this is known as infrastructure as code. So one other service that AWS provide completely for AWS is cloud formation. So cloud formation does the same thing, but it is much more advanced with a lot of features into it. So same here, we just need to go upload a template file, provide the template file, which is a YAML file, and in there we have everything written, whatever infrastructure we want to launch, and then we run that. So when we run that, our infrastructure will be completely launched in AWS without us coming to the console, right? So this is the benefit of using command line interface, and this is how we can get started with AWS CLI.
Moving on, next we have Garvit and Shivam with the solution to the project which was given last week. Handing over to you, Shivam and Garvit.
Hello everyone, am I audible?
Yes, Shivam.
I suppose someone can open the Word file, the documentation of the task.
Dushyant, your screen is still sharing.
Okay, let me show you. Can please someone confirm if my screen is visible?
Yes, Garvit, it is visible.
So, Shivam, you can start with this.
Okay. So everyone, the task was to host a static website using the storage S3 of Amazon services. So talking about S3, in the free tier, you get 12 months of free services with 5 GB limit. So hosting a static website would be very easy. You can find this in the later links, how you can do it. So first of all, after signing into our console, we just go into our services, which is in the dashboard. We select S3 and we go on to the create bucket menu. Over there, we click on create. Where can you please scroll down? Once we create our bucket, we can name it. The naming should be proper as the naming would be reflected in the URL. Here we have to upload our files for the static website. All your CSS, HTML files will go here. So after uploading the files, we can go back where the name of the bucket is available. Clicking on that name will take us to the settings of the storage. After that, we can go into our properties and edit the settings. There we have to turn on that this bucket will be hosting a static website. After turning that on, we have to tell the bucket which is our main HTML. Usually it is named as index.html or whichever you may have kept it. So after naming it, you can click on save. As of now, the bucket is set to private, so only the person who has the access they can access. But we are going to make it a website, so the public should be able to access it. So moving on forward, we need to modify the access settings. Yeah, here you have to put the name of the main file. Going back to the name of the bucket, we have to click on it. We go back to our access setting list, and our we have to upload our permissions and set the name. So it is different on every cases, like if it's a private website and you only want your employees to be able to access it, or if you want everyone, whoever has the link, to be able to access it, we need to modify the ACL according to that. So going on to permissions, you can select whatever you need and set it to true or false. In this case, I am making it a public. That's why I've clicked false on most of the things. Now we also need to set the bucket policy to make it available to all public users. For the bucket policy, we can use a bucket policy generator. You can show it below. Yeah. Here we have to write our bucket policy. The bucket policy can be easily generated depending on the use. AWS provides services for the free. So you have to just select what you want the policy for and give it the details, and it will generate the policy. After that, you can just select and copy it and paste it over the policy editor. After saving it, you have to just go back to the place where you have turned on our ACL. You will get the URL right there, and after visiting that URL, that your website should be hosted. Once we are done with this, as it's a limited service, we should be able to clear the bucket and delete it as well. So I've showed how to do that. We have to just go into empty bucket, type in the name of the bucket, and it will empty it. You can also write permanently and delete it as well. So this was just a brief session on how to host our static website using AWS S3. You can find more links on AWS training website. Thank you.
Wonderful, Shivam. For anyone who doesn't know, this project was completed and documented by a technical member, Shivam Mishra. Great work, Shivam. Great round of applause for you, Shivam. Now, if anyone has any queries or questions, you may ask now. Okay, I guess there are no queries. If in future you have any queries, you can definitely ping any one of us in Instagram, in Telegram or through WhatsApp. Moving on ahead, we have achieved so much in the time we have been here and gained a lot ourselves too. This event is finished, of course, but it doesn't really stop here. And it will soon be time to be thinking about organizing the next one. I know I've enjoyed today enormously as well, and I hope you all have too. Ladies and gentlemen, as they say, who grind are those who get the best in life. So keep learning, keep hustling, and we'll see you next week. Pratik Singh signing off. Thank you.